There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA.
So, when Angel Reese steps onto the court, she gets ejected. But when Caitlin Clark makes her entrance, she's breaking records left and right. Sounds like the setup to a joke, right? Well, it's no joke. It's the stark reality in women's basketball today. And trust me, what unfolds next is far from funny.
Caitlin Clark now has the rookie record, the history of the WNBA, as she's now going to try to set the all-time record, but 12 games to go.
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, two young phenoms, both expected to define the future of the sport. But here's the twist. Their careers are heading in dramatically different directions, and the twists and turns are nothing short of a roller coaster. How did we get here? How can two players, once neck and neck in their rise to the top, find themselves on such different paths? One climbing higher and higher, while the other faces unexpected setbacks. Stay with me because the reason will surprise you.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon. And if I said to any of these people who think Caitlin Clark is not the Rookie of the Year, I'd say, who would you want to start your franchise with? Now, I'm not going to put A'ja Wilson in there. I'm just saying between these two.
Let's talk Caitlin Clark. This isn't just another player. She's a phenomenon. Watch any of her recent games, and you'll see she's not just outplaying her opponents. She's rewriting the rules of the game. Take her showdown against the Seattle Storm. Clark didn't just show up, she dominated. 29 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. She filled every stat line. And that was just the warm-up. Her performance is absolutely nuclear. Points, assists, steals, stuff of legends. These aren't just good numbers. They're the kind of stats that make you double-check the scoreboard. I'll show you exactly what she said in a second. But here's the thing. It's not just about the stats with Caitlin Clark. It's how she's racking them up. Clark has this almost supernatural ability to read the game. She's always one step ahead, like she's got the cheat codes to basketball. Watching her play is like watching a chess grandmaster while everyone else is playing checkers. Pure genius in motion. Now, let's talk about what Cheryl Swoops had to say. You know, the WNBA legend? Let's just say she wasn't handing out any compliments. In fact, she seemed a bit salty. Can you believe it? She's dodging giving credit to the only player who's bringing in viewers like never before.
I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to say shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She is just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. If Indiana continues to play the way they're playing like this, they too are going to move up in the standing.
And you know who didn't hold back? Stephen A. Smith. He called it out saying, "Why the hate for Clark? It's obvious. Clark's playing style is electrifying. It's fast-paced.
You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it.
And it's got that killer instinct that makes you sit up and take notice. So, what's really going on here? Why do some WNBA veterans seem so against her? Maybe it's because Caitlin Clark is everything the league needs right now. A breath of fresh air, a new energy. She's pulling in crowds like we've never seen. We're talking about a surge in viewership numbers that's setting new records. Even those who've never watched a women's basketball game before are tuning in. And let's not forget the hardcore basketball purists. They're noticing too. Caitlin Clark isn't just changing games. She's changing minds. She's showing everyone that women's basketball isn't just good. It's great. Take Shannon Sharpe, for example. Think about it. When was the last time you saw someone have this kind of impact on a sport? Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball. She's redefining it. She's bringing in a new wave of fans, inspiring the next generation of players, and setting an unprecedented standard for excellence. But here's where it gets even more compelling. Clark isn't just changing the game on the court. She's flipping the script off the court too. Suddenly, women's basketball is the hot topic. It's on every sports channel, it's trending on social media, it's everywhere you look. And who's at the epicenter of all this buzz? Caitlin Clark. So, how does she handle the weight of these expectations? Because, let's be real, the spotlight is on her every move, every game, every play, every decision, scrutinized. Yet, Clark doesn't just handle the pressure, she thrives in it. The bigger the stage, the more she shines. And that's what sets her apart. It's not just about her jaw-dropping skills, though those are undeniable. It's about her mentality. The way she approaches the game, the way she carries herself, it's like she was born for this. Now, let's shift gears to Angel Reese.
Angel Reese is a wonderful player, but she does not compare to what and who Caitlin Clark is when she's on the basketball floor.
Remember when she was the talk of the league, when it seemed like nothing could stop her? Well, things have taken a wild turn lately. You won't believe what happened during her recent game against the New York Liberty. Reese steps onto the court, ready to dominate, eyes set on victory. But then, in a shocking twist, instead of lighting up the scoreboard, she gets ejected. Yeah, you heard that right. Ejected. Talk about a plot twist. What went down? What's next for Reese? The drama just keeps unfolding, and we're here for every second of it. Now, you might be thinking, maybe it was just a bad day. But here's the kicker. It's not just one game. Reese has been in a slump, and I mean a serious slump. In her last 5 games, she's shooting a dismal 29%. That's not a typo. 29%. For a player of her supposed caliber, that's like a chef who keeps burning toast. And to even put her in the same conversation as Caitlin Clark, that's just absurd. So, what's going on here? Why is Reese having such a tough time? It all comes down to mechanics. Her shooting form, let's be honest, needs some serious work. She's shooting from her shoulder instead of her eye level, almost like she's throwing darts with her eyes closed. Sure, she might hit the board occasionally, but good luck hitting the bullseye with any consistency. And it's not just her shooting that's off. Reese is facing rejection left and right, on and off the court. Remember Coach Cheryl Reeve, the one with an eagle eye for talent? Well, she took a glance at Reese and said, no thanks. Instead, she drafted Elisa Peely, who, by the way, is logging an impressive 2 minutes per game warming the bench. Ouch. And it doesn't end there. Reese tried recruiting Gabby Williams, the French Olympic star, to join her in Chicago. You know what Williams said? Thanks, but no thanks. It's like inviting someone to your birthday party, only to have them tell you they'd rather stay home and watch paint dry. So, where does Reese go from here? Can she turn things around, or is this slump going to define her season? Stick around, because what happens next could change everything. Now, you might be thinking, is this the end for Angel Reese's? Well, hold on to your seats, because this story's got another twist. In a recent showdown against the Phoenix Mercury, Reese showed us all she's far from done. She switched up her game plan, moving away from her usual layups to focus on mid-range shots. And guess what? It worked. She put up 24 points like it was a walk in the park. This is where things get interesting. Reese isn't just showcasing her skills. She's proving she can adapt under pressure. But the big question is this enough? Can Reese fully turn things around and live up to the expectations that have been placed on her? Or is this just a temporary fix to a deeper problem lurking beneath the surface? Let's take a step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. What's happening with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese isn't just about them. It's a reflection of the shifting landscape of women's basketball. And believe me, that landscape is changing faster than ever. Did you know that over 70% of WNBA fans are swayed by sponsorships? That's a game changer. It means as the league expands, the opportunities for players like Clark and Reese multiply. Bigger contracts, more endorsements, and a shot at becoming true household names. But here's the real kicker. There's a new league on the horizon called the Unrivaled League, and it's shaking things up with some big promises. But here's the debate. Should Clark stick with the WNBA or take a risk with something new? Many believe she should stay put. Why? Because the WNBA is established. It's got the history, the loyal fan base, and the solid infrastructure. Clark is already breaking records, pulling in crowds, and rewriting the game within the WNBA. Why gamble all of that for a new, untested league? But then again, isn't taking risks what legends are made of? What do you think? Should Clark stick with the WNBA, or is it time for her to break new ground? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's see where you stand on this game-changing decision. And it's not just about the money or the fame, it's about leaving a legacy. The WNBA has been home to some of the greatest names in women's basketball history. Legends like Lisa Leslie, Diana Taurasi, and Sue Bird. Caitlin Clark is poised to add her name to that illustrious list. Now, let's zoom out and see what this means for women's basketball as a whole. Clark and Reese are more than just players. They're symbols of the sport's potential and its challenges. On one side, you've got Caitlin Clark. She's not just playing the game, she's redefining it. Her success is proof that women's basketball can be just as thrilling, skillful, and marketable as men's basketball. She's raising the bar and showing what's possible when talent meets opportunity. Then there's Angel Reese. Her journey reminds us that success isn't guaranteed, even for the most gifted players. But more than that, Reese is demonstrating the importance of resilience. She's tackling setbacks head-on and finding new ways to adapt. Together, Clark and Reese are weaving a narrative about women's basketball that's bigger than wins and losses. It's a story of growth, challenge, and the future of the sport. And let's not forget the fans. The WNBA boasts the highest percentage of social media users among its fans compared to other major sports. This means these players have a direct line to their audience. They're not just athletes, they're influencers. They have the power to shape opinions, inspire the next generation of players, and grow the sport in unprecedented ways. So, what's next for women's basketball? Will Clark continue to set new standards, and will Reese overcome her hurdles to make a lasting impact? The future is wide open, and these players are at the forefront of a revolution. Share your thoughts below. How do you see the future of women's basketball unfolding? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more updates on these game-changing athletes.